Hey everybody, it's Derek with Hi-Fi Resale Shop. It is the day after Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope that you had a wonderful time with your family and friends, and it was a good time to commune with people. Um, so we didn't have a couple of good days. We didn't have very good sales leading up to Christmas, but starting on Christmas Eve, we started to get sales trickle in, and then we're up to 19 items at this point through this part of this morning, which it's like noon now. So noon today. So Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the first part of today. And I'm going to show you the 19 things that sold that you could probably find at your local thrift store or flea market, or coming later this year at a garage sale to sell for a profit. Or maybe you can even find some of this stuff in your own house just lying around. I've sold a few things in the last couple of weeks that have just toys that kids don't play with anymore, and or other items lying around the house, clothes that we don't wear anymore. So you can always start with those things. That's what I highly recommend, is you start with things that you have lying around your house that you don't use anymore. But we sold 19 items for a gross total of $415. That is not taking out any of the fees or shipping costs or whatever, because we always do shipping on top. I just find it a little bit easier, not that it's too much easier, but it's a little bit easier to do shipping on top of it. I used to do free shipping on everything when I just did clothes, because I knew exactly how much the clothes were going to cost to ship. And it always changes, so you never know when it's not going to be feasible anymore. But because they're always going to come out with two price changes during the year, the USPS is. But I used to do free shipping as an added value to my customer, and I got a lot of orders because of it. But more recently, I was thinking when I got back into this, I'll just do shipping on the top, because I was watching people who were doing shipping on the top and things were selling for them. So I figured if they do it, I should be able to do it, no problems. So that's the way I got back into it, like 3 years ago when I started selling again, trying to make it a full-time gig. So you can do shipping on top, so you don't have to think about, as long as you put the measurements and the weight in there correctly, you won't get burned by any shipping costs. Sometimes it might cost you a couple extra cents or whatever, but nothing major if you do it right. And then for really big weird items, just make sure you act like the box is going to be as big as you could conceivably imagine the box having to be. If it's breakable, give it some extra space. And then you can even like weigh the box with the item if you have like unmade new boxes. Like I have stacks of boxes that I use. I have a ton of Christmas boxes that gifts came in from Amazon. I grabbed as many as I could, but you don't necessarily always have a box like that lying around. So anyway, we do shipping on top on all our items. We have done that for like 3 years now. I don't really do free shipping at all. It's too much to factor in when I factor in all the other things. So what are all the other things? Like promoting the listing, which might go away here on January 13th. I might unpromote everything in my store because of their new policy on promotions. And we'll see what happens then. But promotions, and then I always have a sale running in my store, just so people who are going past it somehow see that there's a sale on, and maybe they get interested and look a little bit further into the stuff. So there's always a sale going, and it's usually 20 or 25% The last sale we did, I was trying to clear a few things out because I've never had a storage issue before in my storage area, but now I'm coming up against like storage, and I don't think it's a major problem in terms of I have a lot of low end stuff that I can purge to get out of there to make room for higher end items. But shelving in there is at a premium, although there still is a lot of stuff in there that doesn't belong in there, which is personal items and not business related stuff. So, and that's what you get with running a business out of your home kind of thing. So, you're gonna have some overlap and stuff. So, I would like to get some of that stuff into different areas, but you have to have an area to put it in. So, anyway, so we're coming up against some storage issues in that storage area, and I'm trying to alleviate it in some ways. I've been thinking about maybe getting rid of a whole bookcase of books. Excuse me, a whole bookcase of books. But I also know that the audiobooks, I'm really down to some of the stuff that really isn't that expensive in the audiobooks. It needs to be grouped together, like authors need to be grouped up together. And I need to do that. I think that would, would spawn some sales in the audiobooks. Although we did have some audiobook sales today. I listed some CDs last week, and I had noticed that my CDs sales had slowed down quite a bit, and so we sold some CDs that I put up and a couple other CDs that I didn't put up that were older. So when you list in the categories, whatever categories you're going to list in, those are the items you're going to sell in. So if you do all clothes and then you stop for a month and don't do any clothes, then your clothes sales will suffer. If you do records all month long and then you stop doing records and start doing jeans, your record sales are going to suffer. But you got to keep on those, listing those items in which you're trying to sell in. But anyway, let's start with the stuff that's sold. This cookbook, Our Daily Bread. Now, this particular series, there are companies that put these out. They go to churches and they say, hey, you want to do a fundraiser, you're going to sell a cookbook, blah blah blah, and they have these generic covers all the time, but sometimes it's a cover of the actual church. I don't know if this is one, but sometimes they're just generic and they're not worth picking up because it's the same cookbook over and over again. They sell it as a fundraiser to the church and everything. So some of them aren't worth anything, some of them are. This one sold for $3.49, and it with shipping on top. So that one wasn't particularly great. The next item is something that I've had since I was a kid. This is my own Michael Jordan collection. I grew up in the 90s and I grew up in Chicagoland, so I collected everything Michael Jordan that I could find. My parents clipped newspaper clippings for me, and I would have those up on the wall. I had posters up on the wall, but I also had these still attached to each other Michael Jordan cards, and there's 8 of those, and then they also came with these Jackie Joyner Kersee cards. Nobody's really interested in these, but they are interested in the Michael Jordan cards. They're uncut as to far as the 4 in a row, but I think they were all together at one point. So those sold for $54.99 plus shipping on top. And let me just see where they're going. They're going to Indiana, so that's fine. I like to. It's nice when something's still valuable. Like a lot of the stuff I collected isn't worth anything, So, but that's as to be expected, because I was just collecting what I could as a person with no money. Being a child, I was, I didn't have any money. We didn't get allowances, basically. So there was no way for me to find any of these things. So whatever I could come up with that's still valuable is interesting. It was really painful when I tried to list some football cards and baseball cards to find out that everything that I had stuck in a plastic sleeve was not worth anything. So very painful process on that end because you spent so much time on that. But I really enjoyed it when I was a kid. So it isn't a bad thing. The next thing that sold is a CD, Best of Narada, New Flamingo Guitar, $4.89 plus shipping on top. And then another CD sold, this sealed new Sammy Hagar Essential Red Collection from 2004. It sold for $11.89 plus shipping on top. This sold Gene number 235. These silver brand Suki Surplus, which is silver brand is the name of the jeans. Suki Surplus is the name of the model or the style, and then denim medium wash, blue jeans with a low rise boot cut, size 25/32L. So these sell for $18 plus shipping on top. So silver is a brand you want to look out for when you're out there looking for jeans. Silver, I like Silvers, Chico's, Maurice's, Buckle. I never find Miss Me jeans. I never see Rock Revival jeans or anything like that. So if you don't ever see these things, you never know what you're missing. So, I mean, I see in videos all over the time that the people have these Miss Me jeans. But you know what scares me about Miss Me jeans? All the embellishments on the pockets. You'd have to make sure that that's all there. If it's missing part of the embellishment because people sat down it and ripped part of it off, that would be a problem. I'm going to grab the next item. Give me a second. Okay, so the next item is this Wanda and Boyd's Bears, Wanda and Gert. Get a little off the top, so it's like a beautician type of statue. And that sold for $7 plus shipping on top. What else here? This came out of the Owl auction, so spent $226. Made a whole bunch of money off the auction. $1 cost on items. This was a baby carrier cover with a dinosaur-like theme to it. And I have 6 of these still available. And this one sold for $9.99 plus shipping. There's a lot of shipping on that. $7 in shipping. The next item that sold was an audiobook. These are called graphic audiobooks. They have sound effects and stuff in them too, as well as the person reading. I think that's an entire cast of people reading the book. So many different voices. So this one is Blood Bond, Brotherhood of the Gun, and it sold for $6.99 plus shipping on top. The next item is this tennis skirt or golf skirt, and it's like a New Balance skirt I think it's a Skort. It's a Skort large, and it's sold for $6.99 plus shipping. And then another pair of jeans sold, number 234. These are Maurice's denim blue jeans, low rise, flare, size 5/6, regular, embroidered pockets. So these sold for $20.99. That's a good sale right there. The next item that sold is also from the Owl auction, because I got the entire plumbing aisle and the entire baby aisle. So a lot of baby stuff, a lot of plumbing stuff. But this Bennington Oil Rub Bronze Trip Lever Bath Drain Conversion Kit. It's new in the box, and it's sold for $8.39. I still have 5 available of that. And again, $1 cost or lower on that. The next 2 items also came from that. These Born Free silicone nipples. It's got a level number, level 2, for the size of the baby. New in the package, 2 of them. These sold for $17.49 plus shipping on top. I will combine shipping because they bought these as well, these are level 3 nipples, 3 of them for $17.49 plus shipping. So I will refund that person some shipping on those. They go together. The next item that's sold is a pair of slacks. These are women's stretch pants, number 277. Peter Nygaard Slims, black, size 18-20, extra large with elastic waist. These sold for $14.99 plus shipping on top. The next item that sold is another one of those graphic novel things. Deathlands Dark Fathoms. This sold for, it's an audiobook, and it's sold for $13.99 plus shipping on top. The next item is a CD sealed Lana Del Rey Chemtrails Over the Country Club. From 2021. It's new, and it sold for $9.99 plus shipping. The next thing that sold was this Woodstock doll, this Woodstock plush. It's 1972 Knickerbocker, tag, 6 inches, and it sold for $4.89. And that, you know, to me, that's really like kind of sad that it's only worth $4.89. There must be a lot of them around, or nobody really cares about peanuts anymore, which probably both are true. I find it ironic that that one of the companies that is really least about religion and God and everything has snatched up Charlie Brown's Christmas and held on to it just so they can make money off it, because, you know, those of us who have nostalgia want to see it, and that thing, the Charlie Brown Christmas is chock full of God and faith and the message. So it's really ironic that company that has it right now holds on to it, because they are not about religion, and they're not about God, and they're not about Jesus and the birth of Jesus, but yet they hold on to that really tightly. But anyway, I'm gonna this is a human scale monitor arm. I've been selling these. I had a friend who grabbed them out of a dumpster. So the cost on these is $10 a piece. I have probably 7 or 8 available still, and this sold for $41.99. I just got a return the other day. Somebody said that these these bolts have been tightened so much in the back that they were cracked. So that's really interesting because it's metal. So how tight you would have to tighten down on it to crack it. The other thing I usually do is there's an Allen wrench in here. So this little plastic piece comes off. It holds the computer cords running up here, but there's an Allen wrench in here. I usually take this piece off and then put it in a box. It just becomes a lot smaller. There was a learning process on that, trying to figure out the best way to ship it, because I knew I was gonna, if they indeed did sell, which I didn't know when I first started it. I took 2 from him and I said, I'll take them. I don't know if they'll sell, but I do see them up here for about 40 bucks. And he was like, well, if you want more, then you can pay the next time for these 2 and whatever else you grab. And I was like, sure, that sounds good. I like that he's very open about, like, you know, hey, this may or may not work. Can you work with me on it? So I ended up selling those 2 within like 2 days, and I came back to him like, hey, I need more. And then I grabbed probably 10 of them the next time, and I sold through those. And I don't know how many I've sold at this point. I probably could look it up, and but I will do that off camera for you. Let me look up how many of these I've sold so far. Hold on. Okay, so I've sold 19 human scale monitor display rotating arm dust clamp mounts, 19 units to 15 people. So it doesn't have a total here. No running total on it. I think the lowest price I've sold any of them at was, I sold one for $35, but most of them are between $40, and I think the first one I sold for $54. Yeah. So, but the first one's different. I changed the photos on the listing after the first one. So, because I think I was using a stock photo, and I was like, oh, well, I don't want to get this taken down because of that. So now that here's the thing about it, is that the that listing, I don't let it expire. I just add a new number to it, like what's available. I just add a new number to it because I wouldn't want it to expire, because it is a selling algorithmic thing. So, like, the algorithm knows that it captures people 15 times. It's captured somebody that listing, so they're going to show that listing at the top of the search results, and people are finding it and they're using it. So I don't think this is going to go on very much longer. I think the 8 or 9 I have, there might be 10 more available, but after that it's going to be pretty much over. But that was a new thing this year. $41.99 for that monitor arm, plus shipping on top. And then something just sold. It's an Old Navy tank top. It's gray. It's a 2XL, and it's new with tags, and it sold for $4 plus shipping on top. I didn't grab it yet. It's just been ordered. So that's everything. Sorry. That's everything that sold over Christmas. People got those gift cards and they immediately started spending their money on it. If I haven't said it recently, I appreciate everybody who watches these videos. People have been commenting, and I thank everybody who comments and likes the videos. And we've gained some followers in the last couple of months. I put my name, somebody, I think it was Flippin' Philly or something, was like, name your favorite YouTuber, and I was like, Shed Flips, Bearded Thrift Machine, um, High Five Resale Shop. And so High Five Resale Shop ended up having like a hyperlink in it. So so people could click on it and go to the videos. So I think that helped a little bit. But uh, remember the reason for the season? It's Jesus. He sacrificed everything so that we could have it all. The greatest gift of all time. And always remember to give yourself a high five when you're out and you find that really cool item. See you next time.